The following may contain language that is not suitable for all audiences.
Hey everybody, thank you for finding us. We are the Low Fact Pod podcast. I don't know, can we call ourselves a micro podcast?
I don't even know if that's a real word, but we are a micro podcast.
I don't know. Wouldn't a micro podcast be like, hi, done?
Well, we're definitely a mini podcast.
Anyway, so let's kind of get right into it. I was thinking about accountability because lately there are so many people that believe that there's a dearth of personal responsibility, and that's what's making the world the way it is, or at least America the way it is. And I thought about that, and it just doesn't seem to fit. I think accountability is a more fitting descriptor.
Well, what's the difference between accountability and responsibility? I would think those are very similar, aren't they?
Well, they are, but in my mind, accountability actually has a standard, and you're just not meeting it.
And responsibility is just in general.
Yeah, I mean, it's BS that people say, I'm responsible. Okay.
Because there's no standard.
Well, I don't think there's really a standard with accountable either. Basically, if someone's going to be blamed, it's the person who's accountable.
We want somebody to be accountable, but just not us.
Sure. Everybody. I mean, that's kind of the way it is. And life for a lot of people is being indoctrinated into accountability, which I think has kind of gone away a lot. And, you know, let's be totally clear here. The whole idea that people get more accountable as they move up the ladder in corporations, in whatever bureaucracy you want to think of, that's just crap. Nobody in power at the top ever is accountable. I mean, if you go back to some of the theories, like with the Iran-Contra thing, right? There's a lot of thought that thinks that all the people that took the fall for the Iran-Contra affair were taking a hit for the vice president so that he could become the president.
Really?
And the president knew about it.
So did those people get taken care of later?
I don't know.
They probably did.
To be honest, I didn't really care about it enough to,
So who took the fall?
Poindexter.
Oliver, what's his face?
Oliver North was somebody that kind of took that was.
Because he kind of went away for a long time, didn't he? After that.
What do you mean by went away for a long time? I mean, I don't know what you're meaning here.
Well, it's like he got a show on Fox 20 years later.
So, what's your point?
And my point is he was out of public life.
I don't know that he was ever in public life. He was a lieutenant colonel in the Marine Corps back then, and he was doing something with something. Yeah, I know. I lived through it, and I just, I don't remember it very well.
I don't remember it at all.
You weren't even in this country. I don't know why you would think you should. You were off in Kiwia being Lord Fancy Pants with your rich friends.
Whatever, dude.
Your highbrow, high echelon friends.
So not true.
In your all.
This is all fake.
In your all Caucasian country club.
Fake news.
Whipping the Aborigines.
Now you're just making more shit up.
But anyway, so back to accountability. Yeah, I think accountability, there's a big dearth of it, and if you're looking towards it from people, you're going to be sorely mistaken in most people, most of the time.
So do you think when people say, "Oh, you need to take accountability," it's just some cudgel that they use,
or take responsibility?
Yeah, to just kind of say people need to kind of fall into line.
Well, I don't know about fall into line, but it's always used on somebody else.
It's always.
So, I think first you should use it on yourself.
So if somebody says that to you, the appropriate response would be why don't you take personal responsibility?
No, the appropriate response is, do you fuck, fund, or feed me?
The 3 Fs.
Hey, that's pretty much the way I look at it. Did
you just come up with that?
No, I saw it from somebody else.
It's
right?
good.
if you're not paying my bills, if you're not giving me food or sex, then you should go take a very long walk off a short pier.
Oh, that's a good soundbite. I'm always thinking in terms of sound bites now.
I mean, generally, right? I mean, if it's somebody who's got some authority, moral authority would be nice, but got some authority, then, maybe you should listen to them. But one would think that you're an adult. Well, not necessarily. One would think that all the people who have reached the age of majority that would take personal responsibility. But hey, let's be honest. Personal responsibility, accountability, it costs.
Yeah, and one would say that is it worth the cost, really?
What the hell kind of question is that?
Well,
is it worth the cost?
Everybody says, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that, but if they're not taking accountability, then
it's not a contest. I mean, that whole attitude is the whole reason why the mask wearing thing works.
That ain't even fucking...
You need to wear a mask, so I will wear a mask. How about both of you not wear a mask and don't cough on each other?
Yeah.
But that's kind of an aside. But this whole idea that other people need to hold up their part in order for you to hold up your part, that's the same BS that people throw out there to say society is great. I don't know, man. Would you rather live a long substandard life or a really short, incredible one?
I don't know.
Well, everyone young would want to live a short, incredible one. Everyone old would be like, no, I want to live a long, substandard one.
Well, they wouldn't say substandard.
That's not one of the choices.
You don't get to, dictate the choices?
In my hypotheticals, yes, I do.
Well, that's a sucky choice.
That's right. So is life.
That sucks, too.
Life sucks most of the time. I can attest to that.
That's just great.
Well, life doesn't suck.
If you're going to be an inspirational speaker...
Actually, no. Life doesn't suck most of the time. Most of the time, life is just boring. It's just boring, humdrum BS.
This is true.
And then you'll have, it will be punctuated if you're lucky enough to go to war or do some really, dangerous stuff. It will be punctuated by sheer bowel cleansing terror. And then every now and then you might have, some happy moments.
Well, if you had the bowel cleansing terror and the happy moments all the time, then that would just be weird.
You can't. You wouldn't survive.
Yeah.
If you had bowel cleansing terror all the time, I'm pretty sure you would not survive it for very long.
You just have a heart attack.
Speaking of which, I heard that people that jump off of really tall buildings...
They have a heart attack before they hit the ground?
Yeah.
I think that's just what they... How the hell do they know?
Maybe they, hooked up someone to an EEG with really long cords and threw them off a tall building. Maybe it was a Nazi experiment.
That's horrendous. What's wrong with you?
Many things.
But yeah, the competition, I always think of it in terms of driving. And I think if I see a bunch of people just breaking the rules and getting away with it all the time, at a certain point I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to do that because there's no consequences and I'm sick of abiding by the rules and everybody's just cutting in front of me. So why not just... I mean, that's a good analogy, isn't it?
It's not what we talked about, but this is a good point, a good place to end with your inappropriate analogy.
All right. Are we ending?
Yes.